My name is Brian Carter, my wife Stephanie. Welcome to Made to Last conversations about marriage and parenting, family, and life. One of the things that continues to be a topic among some is what happens when you're bored in marriage. Somebody said you're single and lonely, or you're married and bored, right? I mean, so what happens when you are bored in marriage? Like boredom can happen, right? For a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it can happen because your other spouse is always working or has a couple of jobs, and he or she is always gone. Sometimes boredom can happen because of what else? What else you think?
Boredom can happen just because of the season of life you're in. It
That's
could
true.
be boredom could be just a daily routine where if your kids are in school and you get them up, you take them to school, you pick them up, lunch, bath time, bed, dinner, all that kind of stuff. I know that's all out of order, but that can just the routine of daily things
Yeah.
could bring up boredom.
Yeah, because you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, right? And then you can become bored. So it can happen, right, in any relationship, right? It can happen when your kids start leaving, right, and you start getting empty nest. It can happen when you go through just attention or disconnect. So how do you? Oh, I guess the greater question is like, what do you do? How do you handle that? How do you overcome boredom in your relationship?
Well, I think you have to recognize the season that you're in. Like, it's kind of a unique season we're in right now. We have a 20-year-old, we have an 18-year-old, and we have a 14-year-old. So, our 18-year-old and our 20-year-old are gone for the summer. Um, just various programs and so on. So, this is the first time that we've had one kid, and it is kind of freeing, but then it's also you realize how quiet the house is. Like the girls, like you miss that dynamic. There's always something going on, or they have to go somewhere, they're doing something, or
So,
something.
so are you saying you're bored? Are you saying
Yeah, you're
you?
boring because he comes
it's,
home. He
it
comes
is.
home.
It's a different space.
It's a different space. And our friends, we have some really great friends, and we had some friends warn us that yeah, the boy is different because like the
Right,
girls, they just yeah,
right,
this is what happened. But the boy, he gives you nothing.
right. So really, I think, so part of what we're discovering that you got to have your own life, right? Part of the reason that marriage gets bored sometimes is sometimes we're so wrapped up into each other that we lose who we are, right? We're so wrapped up in being mom and dad, you lose who you are. You're so wrapped up in your career or your spouse. And so it's so important, right, to to have your own life, right? So important, right? To do stuff for you, right? Because if you don't, then when those transitions happen, whether with the kids or in our case, kids leaving, you're trying to figure out who am I in this new season, right? Now that I'm not driving everybody around, got this extra time on my hands. You have to figure it out, right? So you got to figure out who you want to be, right? Even if that means recreating that, right? What are you interested in? What do you
Mm-hmm.
enjoy doing? I was talking to somebody and they were talking to me about the new season in their life. They said, I started working out more. They said, I started doing stuff that I love to enjoy. I started spending more time with friends. So here's the piece. Part of how you avoid boredom, right, is making sure that you have a life by yourself, but you also have a life together, right? It's this blend that kind of helps that make happen.
It's interesting. This morning I was with some young women in their 20s, and they were talking about how they were like, yeah, I'm trying to work out, I'm trying to do this. And I said, listen, y'all, you only be 48 at my age trying to work out and trying to get back or trying to get healthy. And I said, if you can do it now, make time for it now. Because when you make time for yourself, and they have like young kids, and like, when are we supposed to do that? And I said, I don't know, but you gotta make some time for it. It's not gonna be every day. It might be twice a week, or it might be three times a week, or once a week. Something for yourself.
I think that marriage can become routine, right? It can, and it can become boring if we're not careful. So I think that's why we got to keep challenging each other to be romantic with our date nights, right? To have our own space, to take quick trips together, right? Even if that's driving away, it's about making sure that we make some time to spark one another, to love one another, to be romantic with one another. Because if we don't, it can become monotonous, right? You can get overwhelmed with kids and bills and blended families and in-laws and work and everything else if we don't make sure that I want to celebrate the one I'm with and I want to celebrate the season I may be in, right, as we walk through this together. So we hope that helps you, right? If you got questions, comments, feel free to drop that in the comments. Like it, share it with your friends. Thank you for watching Made to Last.